So today I want to talk to you about the two parts of your intuition, because understanding that your intuition does have two parts is really helpful, because it helps us start to work more consistently with our intuition. It helps us get better results, and also it helps us use our intuition in a way that makes a much more positive difference to our own lives. So what are these two parts? Well, actually, intuition involves both internal alignment and external alignment. So let me go through both of these. So internal alignment is about you being aligned with yourself. So all your parts lined up, all the different aspects of you, all being lined up towards that thing that you want to use your intuition around. And the more consistently you hold that alignment, well, the easier it is for your intuition to talk to you. Firstly, because there's not a lot of white noise or interference in your space, and so it's easier to hear yourself. And it's also, when many people talk about their intuition, they'll talk about this sense of calmness or this sense of knowing, when we're actually, it's more like our imagination. It's like we're trying to force it. Where we want it to be true, but there's some part of us that isn't lined up to that thing. So it doesn't feel completely stable or peaceful. It isn't that sense of knowing, of just complete alignment. So the more that we work on being connected to who we really are and recognizing that sense of self-alignment, that state of internal peace or alignment, then the more that we know, okay, that is the foundation. That is the foundation for our intuition to work. We know that we'll be able to hear ourselves clearly. So the more that we practice that, the more that we are practicing having a solid foundation from which our intuition can work. So that's a good start. So that's our internal alignment, being aligned with us, with who we really are. So then the external alignment is like, right, so how am I going to express that in the world? How am I going to express, who Catherine is, or, how are you going to express who you truly are out in the world? Well, that's external alignment. So then the external alignment, is simply an acceptance of the fact that life actually is a co-creation. It's a co-creation between us and the world around us. It's like when you're going to the kitchen to cook. Well, you might have intended to cook yourself, I don't know, a steak or something that night. But when you get there, if you find that someone else has already eaten it, well, then you're going to have to manage that external alignment. You're either going to have to go and get another steak, or you're going to have to find something else to cook that night. So when you're working on that external alignment, it's simply accepting the fact that you are expressing yourself in an environment. So the external alignment is accepting the fact that, if there's a tree there and a boulder there, well, I might want to walk between them. So in other words, you're looking at the fact that because of your internal alignment, you're clear on where you want to go. So for you, like where you want to go, the destination is set. That's just part of your internal alignment. It's non-negotiable. There's your destination, go for it. However, the path that you take, that's the external alignment. And it's actually when we get this external alignment and the internal alignment, when they both line up, that's when our intuition is really at its strongest. And that's what we're looking for all the time. It's like, okay, we've got the internal alignment, we need to get the external alignment. Now, sometimes, of course, we might get the internal alignment, but the external alignment might be lacking. Well, usually that's because if we've got the internal alignment and the external alignment kind of won't settle down, and we can't really find it, it's usually because there's a piece or two missing. We need to we need to understand the environment more, or we need to clarify what it is that we're after a little bit more. Because once we've got enough information, it tends to just line up. Of course, the other way that people can, go about it is sometimes we've got the external alignment, but the internal alignment's not there. And so that we're trying to make it happen, but it's just not happening. And that often comes about because there is something that we want that's really cool, that, we'd really enjoy having in our lives, but we haven't really quite figured out, well, who we would be. So if there's something that I want, if I want a new job, if I want a new relationship, if I want to move to a new city, well, who am I going to be when I am in that new city? Who am I going to be when I have that new relationship, or that new set of friends, or that new job, or whatever it is? In other words, when we're looking at an external alignment and we don't have the internal alignment, well, often it's because we've just been looking at who we really are today. But of course, we want those things in the world, hopefully, because they're going to help us be a more expanded version of who we really are. So sometimes we need to find that internal alignment, not just with who we are today, but who we are going to be tomorrow. So by understanding that there is the external alignment and the internal alignment, and understanding the difference between those two, and learning how to work with both, we end up with a much more powerful intuition, and an intuition that has much more practical or real world applications and benefits. So use those benefits for yourself, and until next time, remember that you're brilliant.